It's today is Friday, March 8th, I think. I don't know. Anyway, it's sort of pouring here, and it's Friday, which means it's Shabbat. And this Friday, I was waiting for Yosef to come, and I was all ready when he came. Only he came. He brought me a surprise. He came with the news that next Thursday he's going to America. I knew he was going to America soon, but I really didn't expect it to be so soon. Now this tape, which I was thinking of all kinds of ways how I would send it to you and who would bring it to you. Yosef will bring it to you and you'll have it in a week or so. Maybe it's not quicker than the mail, but it's personal regards. I don't know. Anyway, it was so good to see him, and it was such a surprise that he's leaving so soon. I don't know. I wouldn't be very myself. First of all, I didn't really think that he would write to you when he was coming and his flight number and all that. I didn't think he would know in Yosef, but now because it's so close, even if he would write, I don't think he would get it in time. And there's no purpose for me to tell you his plans because he'll bring them to you, so he'll tell you himself. But it's really exciting that he's going. I don't know. He seems so down in the dumps, but maybe it'll cheer him up. And I hope he's listening, so that I don't know. He should get cheered up. He said he would be there for Pesach, so he's going to be spending a long time. He's leaving on Thursday, so I want to have him come over Tuesday for Ban Voyage dinner like you had for Lil. And I couldn't talk him into coming for dinner. He said he'll only come for after dinner tea and cake. So I think I'll make after dinner tea and cake and blintzes and kugel and a meal. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have a lot to tell you in this tape. So many things. I've been pretty, this week I didn't get a chance to write, and I had so much to write. After this week I didn't get a chance to write, but I have a whole lot of things to tell you. All about Shimon's wedding, all about Toby's wedding, and Lil I saw, and all the relatives I saw. And I can't believe it. Today we got the letter about the list, with the list of the things for the list. We're really dying. I had no idea that so many things you're sending. I have no way I don't know how to thank you. I don't know, I'm inarticulate. I can't think of the word. But really, really thank you so much. I don't know, we're not missing anything. I can't think of one thing. We're really rich. I don't know. Anyway, really thanks. It's okay that it won't get here for Pesach. I mean, it's not the end of the world at all, because for the Seder we'll be at the Hurwitz. And then afterwards, Ellie was thinking of going on a tiyul. He's for a long time been looking forward to when the nice weather would come and he'd go someplace and go on a tiyul. And then he would like to take me with him, but conditions as they are, I don't think I'd only be a hindrance to him. So he's thinking maybe if Ari, his brother, can get home, if he has vacation on Pesach, maybe the two of them together will go someplace for a few days. And I hope they do, because, I don't know, we could use the vacation and it'd be nice for him to get out and to go. So, if they do, then I'll just stay at the Hurwitz for Pesach. Anyway, it's not a problem. For sure we'll be able to meet there and everything will be the same. Let me see. I still haven't gotten used to talking into the tape recorder after all these times. Anyway, back to the list. It sounds so great, so great. I really, so many things. I have so many thank yous to write. What happens is each letter you tell me one or two more people to write thank yous to, and I put all the letters that have names of people aside and make a list of all the people that I have to write thank yous to. But here and there I get around to doing it, but I don't know. I really have to sit down and write a lot of thank yous. I've been very, very, very busy with school. As you know, I missed a lot at the beginning of the year, and now I was in the process of catching up, and it also happens to be the end of semester. So I had a billion tests all at once, and I have a billion more. They're giving us, the goodness of their heart, it's They just decided to give us a week off school, the week of Pourim, which is this coming week. Because a lot of girls, why are they doing that? Because usually, in past years, they were very lax about term papers and things. If you didn't hand them in on time, no one can hand them. I don't think there's anyone in the whole world who could possibly fulfill all the requirements of the Mikhalah within the time they give you in 3 years. There's always something that you save until afterwards to do, or you do during the summer. Anyway, so until now, papers that you haven't handed in, they wait for you to hand them in. You don't get a mark for the course until you hand it in. But if you hand it in 5 years later, then retroactively, then you get a mark for the course. No penalties for handing in late, unless the teacher specifically says so. There are some teachers that don't go. But the Mikhalah policy is, once you're in Mikhalah, you belong to the family, and they know that everyone has their own problems, and it's not like university students who have everything there. They have their dormitory and their food and everything. Even if you live in the dormitory, you still have to cook and clean. And most of the girls, especially by Shana Gimel, the third year, especially in my Shana Gimel, I think 90% of the girls are married, and probably 50% of those married are pregnant, and some even have children. And it's very hard. So what do they do this year? They got a new head of the department who happens to be very good, but he decided, and of course his point is obvious, fine, but he decided that he's making a limit to how long you can hand in term papers. And what it means is that all the papers from last year, past years, have to be in before Pesach, even or before Purim, but for sure before Pesach. So with that, for me, that means that I really had 6 papers that I didn't do last year. I purposely didn't do them because last year I had a much harder schedule than this year. It was a harder year as far as courses, and I had 44 hours, something like that. This year I have maybe 32 hours. The difference is incredible. And I didn't have time last year. I was enough just to go to class and make it in math. But the papers I had for Jewish studies, I thought I would wait until I'm married. I had visions of at least being learning and me sitting and doing papers, and he would read them over. I thought it would be easy. I don't really regret it, but I haven't done it. I've already done 4 of them, and I have 2 more to do. But I don't know. So they gave us this week before Purim for everyone to catch up after Purim, for everyone to do all those papers and catch up, because it's really very hard in Mikhalah. There's so much to do, and they gave us a week for people to catch up. But all the teachers, we have a week off, and they say, oh, that's great. After Purim, you'll have a test. You have a whole week to study. After Purim, this paper is due. Everything is due after Purim. So I have this week, which was supposed to be vacation. It turns out to be worse than anything. I have so many tests right afterwards. And I have like maybe 4 tests the day after we go back. Big tests. And I have to get all those papers in, and papers from this year to hand in. I don't know. It wasn't a vacation. I'd rather be at school, and then they wouldn't have assigned so much. But as far as catching up, I was mostly worried in math, because in Jewish studies the courses are more, they're lectures and they're nice. It's a shame to miss them. But usually there's one test at the end of the year. In math, it's hard to understand what's going on without understanding the work up until then, and it's much harder as far as being tested on. It's not essay. You can't just sort of. It's not really thinking. You have to memorize everything and spit it back then in math. It's hard. So I decided that I was going to make myself take the test with the class. The class has been there the whole 3 months, basically, which I missed. Here and there I was there. I didn't understand much, and I didn't do any of the homework, and I really wasn't in it. But I decided I would do the test with them. So it meant that I killed myself. No one was willing to study with me because they had to study themselves. I killed myself learning, and I took the test with them. And the teacher is very, very nice. He apparently is very, very liberal in the way he marked my test because I didn't think I would pass. I didn't even really want to pass. I mean, I wanted to pass. I didn't expect to pass. I didn't deserve to pass. I wanted just to get a mark. I wanted to have that mark there. And at the end, it's an average of 3 tests. So if I do well in the next 2, even if I would have gotten a 30 on this one, at least I would have a mark, and it's better than a 0. But I didn't. I did fairly well. I didn't do worse. I got a 70. The highest mark in class was an 82. And the lowest mark was 30s or something. One person. And mostly in the 60s. I just like to quit the class. It was so incredible. And it was pure luck because I really... Anyway, so I got caught up in that. And then I had another math test, which I also passed. That was also pretty hard. In short, I didn't get the greatest marks, but I got caught up. There's one class that I didn't get caught up in, and I'm already having the second test in that right after Purим. So, I don't know, that's going to be hard. But anyway, things are looking better than they were, but I'm still, this is a real killer. And it's not, what I told you about it being easier in the 3rd year, it's true. It's just that I have all the other 2 years to show. Anyway, I'm by far not in the worst position. There are many people who are much worse than me. Many people didn't do any of their papers ever. Having just 2, anyway, it'll be okay. Right now I'm waiting for the bathtub to fill up. Our bathtub, we finally got it. It was broken for a while and it sort of fixed itself. Maybe because maybe the pipes were frozen, I don't know. But the water wasn't going down and the hot water heater wasn't working. But now it's it's warmer already. We have less rain. So now it takes maybe 5 to 6 hours for the water to heat up. And then you have to wait for it to empty into the bathtub. And the thing is, the bathtub is so big, it's so long, and it's wide. It's about twice the size of a normal bathtub. So you need twice as much water. Because you can't do it because the same amount of water only goes half as high. And it's really depth that you need when you take a bath. So until it fills up, and because the water is so hot, the hotter the water is, the slower it comes out. And the hot water now is coming out in drops. It takes about an hour and a half to fill the bathtub for a decent bath. And if you forget to turn the water on when you want, then you're stuck. So I'm waiting for the water to fill. Every once in a while I'm going to have to run and check and see how high it got. Wow, let's see. I have to tell you, Ellie right now is sleeping because it's Purим. I explained. No, I didn't explain. Purim all over the world is on Friday, but in Jerusalem they always celebrate Purim the day after everyone else does. Purim usually is on the 14th day of Adar, and in Jerusalem it's on the 15th day of Adar. It's called Shoshan Purim. Anyway, so what happened this year is that the 15th day of Adar falls on Shabbat. And on Purim there's a lot of mitzvot that you have to do. You have to listen, you have to read Megillah, and you have to send shalach manos. There's a few other things. You have to have a sudat mitzvah, which is a meal. You have to have a meal, especially for Purim, a holiday meal. Well, this year, because it's on Shabbat, so they didn't want you to have the meal, so it makes things complicated. You're not allowed to read the Megillah on Shabbos, and to have a su'udah, the meal on Shabbos, you wouldn't know it was a meal for Purim, because anyway on Shabbos you have a meal. And shalach manos, it would be hard to send everything on Shabbos. So they sort of spread Purim over 3 days for people living in Jerusalem. On Thursday night and Friday, we read the Megillah, and that was last night. And on Shabbos, you say the special prayers that you say before. And on Sunday, you have the Su'udah, and you send Shalach Manos. So it's like a 3-day holiday instead of one. It's nice. But the thing is that the Rabbanim, the rabbis, or Talmud, whatever, that came to these conclusions when you do each thing, there's still some opinions that you should send Shalach Manos even on Friday, and some say even on Shabbos. It turns out that if you really wanna want to please all opinions, you would do everything all 3 days. But of course, no, that's not because that's exaggerated, because finally they decided what I told you before. Thursday night you read the Megillah, Sunday you send Shalach Manos, and Shabbos you say the prayer. But there's also one more mitzvah of Purim, and that mitzvah is to get drunk. There's something about getting drunk on Purim, or at least being happy and being it's like the happiest holiday. So that there are many people who are quite willing to go by all opinions. Well, if somebody says that you should get drunk on Friday, so all right, we'll be machmir that way. We'll be very strict and careful. But no, it's just excuses. And that last night we went to hear the Megillah at the yeshiva, and when we came home, it was a fast day, but I didn't fast. But Ellie was fasting, and the men were all fasting. When we came home, Yaakov and Bracha upstairs invited us upstairs to eat with them. And they also invited us to Eliyakim. So it was very nice. The 6 of us were there, and we had it was very nice, and we talked and sang and ate. It was very, very nice. And then afterwards, about 10, we were all going to go back to the yeshiva because we were having a Purim party there. But being that all 3 of the women are pregnant, and we were all sort of tired, running around all day and everything, and then today is Shabbos, so getting ready. So we decided not to go, and that way we wouldn't hinder the men. They could go and stay as long as they want. So the men went. Anyway, Ellie didn't come home until 4 in the morning. He wasn't, I don't think he was drunk, but he was a little happy, I guess. He didn't even notice what time it was. So today he had to get up early to hear the Megillah again. So now all day long he's sleeping. We'll see if we can get up in time for Shabbos. Just a minute, I'm going to check the water. Okay. Let's see. The other day we had a scare with our refrigerator. It was last Friday, and we went to the Horvitzes for Shabbos because Toby and Arya were going to be there for Sheva Brachas, so they wanted us to be there. And right before we were leaving, as we were walking out, as we were getting ready to leave, you know how the refrigerator sometimes is working and then it goes off, and then when it gets warm enough, it goes back on again. And I noticed that it kept trying to go back on, and it couldn't make it. It kept trying, and then it stopped. So that worried me very much, because that sounds like something pretty serious with the motor. I didn't understand what it was, and we weren't having a electricity break, stop, hafsakat chashmal. Everything was working. So it was already too late on Friday, but on Sunday right away I called Amana. I called Ruth Miller. I didn't know what to do really, and They came on Monday to look at the refrigerator, and by then it was working again. I didn't understand, but I wanted them to come and check because it sounded like it could be something serious. And he came, he thought it was the fan belt was burned or something, I don't know. He took the whole thing apart practically and said no, that there wasn't anything wrong. And he checked everything, and everything was 100% fine. And really since then I haven't had any trouble at all, and it's going on and off. It just now went on. It must have heard me. But he said that maybe it was because we do have a lot of hafsakot chashmal and the electricity going on and off and on and off suddenly, very often. So maybe that caused something, but it's not serious. Or maybe something was blocking this in the freezer. Maybe I had something blocking the ventilation. I don't know. But anyway, I guess the important thing is that everything is working okay now. Last Shabbos, we were at the last minute invited to the Horvitzes, and I didn't think we were going to go, and I got on this cooking binge, and I don't know, I cooked everything that I could find in the house. I had a lot of chickens. I had about 2 chickens in the refrigerator, and a little bit of ground meat, and I just made a whole bunch of things. I don't know what got into me with the help of your cookbook. And I divided it into meals. I was a real good housewife. And divided it into meals and put it in the refrigerator. We had enough food for months. And then a few weeks ago, when when Rav Tzvi's son was supposed to be, when he was bar mitzvah, so I told you they were originally supposed to come here, and she was going to make a big meal for them. I don't know, but Anyway, she bought all kinds of stuff, and at the end didn't use it because it was snowed out. And she bought a whole lot of meat, real meat, which is expensive, which I don't think I've eaten since that time I made it for you for dinner. We eat a lot of ground meat and chicken. Almost every day we have chicken, fish, or ground. Now fish they don't have anymore. Prices here went up so high that and I don't understand really, but they're not selling any fish, any fresh fish until Pesach time. I don't know. And chickens, we get a chicken a week from the Horvitzes, and the ground meat I divided up, and you can use it for a lot of things. But anyway, Hannah bought real meat for the bar mitzvah, and when she had so much and she didn't use it, so she divided it up into portions, and she gave it to the kollel people. She gave it to young families in the kollel. She couldn't use so much meat. I really don't understand. I think that she could have, but I guess it must have been an awful lot. And she was nice, and she gave everyone a little bit. So I had meat, and I was saving it for a special Shabbos. You know, I would use it for Shabbos, but I had no idea how to cook meat. I don't know. When I first got married, I didn't know how to cook anything, but I've gotten used to already cooking chicken and fish and ground meat. But meat, I really, except for that one time that I made it for you, I have no idea. So I kept putting off cooking it until I had a lot of time to sit and read through cookbooks and figure out what to do with it. Really, I don't even know what cut of meat it is. I imagine it was chulent meat or something. I imagine it was, I don't know, what is that, chuck? I don't really know. In the cookbooks, it has a different type of cooking for different types of meat. I knew it wasn't good steak or something. But so yesterday I decided that I would make it for Shabbos, because since Purim on Shabbos, it's a special Shabbos. But I really didn't know what to do with it. I was going to make it into a stew. I don't know what happened at the end. At the end, I decided I would make this thing called a boiled dinner. I read it in the cookbook, and you boil the meat, you brown it first, and you boil it in the water for a long, long time. And I must have done something wrong, but it came out to be soup with meat in it, with a big chunk of meat in the middle. And I guess it's beef soup. I didn't taste it yet. And I put all kinds of vegetables in and everything. But it's not gravy, it's soup. And the meat, I think it's meat to be very, very hard, not tender. What's the opposite of tender? Like chewing gum, I think it's going to be. So, I don't know, we'll see. I just have to get experience cooking. And I decided I would make a potato kugel, which I've never in my life made before. And I would make it with the sirpella, which I never thought of doing before. And to see how it would come out. And it came out very good. And I already ate almost half of it. But, no, I didn't eat that much. So, anyway, that's my cooking experience. Wow, I've been talking so long and I haven't gotten even to the important thing. I want to tell you about the wedding. First I'll tell you about Shimon's wedding. Shimon's wedding was 2 days before Toby's wedding. And Toby, before the wedding, was going crazy. I thought I was got off with my wedding. I heard to the last minute I was running around buying things and sewing, and I was 20 times better than Toby. She was so disorganized. She didn't have anything ready, and she had all kinds of sewing, little things to fix, and little things to do, and to finish sewing, to make hems, and to lengthen, and to take in, and she herself was going crazy. She was so nervous, and it was funny, except for that it was getting serious. So I told her no, I would help her. I would come and I would sit with her, and I would help her sew, and help her if someone else is there and you're doing something and you get things done. But so I was there all day on Sunday with her, and I was there on Monday. And Monday night was Shimon's wedding. But there's a problem with transportation because it ends at 9:30, and his wedding was at 6:30, which means it wouldn't start. No, it ends at 8 intercity. And his wedding was at 6:30, and it always starts late. So we didn't know whether we were going to go or not. I don't know. But at the end, I had ulterior motives for wanting to go. I wanted to see Aunt Lou, because I wanted to get the dresses for her, because I made a dress for Toby's wedding, and it didn't come out nice. It looked just like a nightgown, and I didn't like it at all, and didn't really want to wear it. And so I had an ulterior motive. Of course, I wanted to see Aunt Lou, of course. So I wanted to go. And it turned out that Monday was a very nice day. So I talked Leah Ben David into, it would be complicated to go. We'd have to change buses a few times, and who knows how we would get home. But we went, and we took a bus to Ramla, and from Ramla we took a bus to Rehovot, and it's right outside of Rehovot, and then we took a cab from there. And we got there very early. We got there an hour and a half before the wedding was supposed to start. So we got to walk around the kibbutz, and it was very nice, very beautiful kibbutz. And later, Aunt Lil, when she came, she told me that was the kibbutz that you saw the wedding in, that you had pictures of. Which I didn't associate at all. I didn't know it was that kibbutz. But it's a beautiful kibbutz. It was gorgeous, Chadar Ochel, where the wedding was. Anyway, around 6:30, finally other people started coming, and I saw Aunt Lil, and I got to stop. And all the relatives came. Oh, Ellie didn't come because on Monday night he gives a class. And he didn't want to miss it because he also teaches on Wednesday, or he has a class on Wednesday, and he was going to have to miss that because it's Toby's wedding. So he didn't want to miss both. So he couldn't come. And I went with Yasser and Midi. And I was so sorry because at Mina's wedding, Moshe and Shoshan weren't there, and all the kids weren't there. Tzviki wasn't there, and he didn't get to meet them all. And this wedding was, everyone was there. It was so nice. It really was. I really, really enjoyed seeing everyone and talking to everyone. But as far as the wedding itself, I didn't have such great expectations because a few weeks before I had been to Ellie's cousin's wedding in kibbutz, and I've been to a few kibbutz weddings, and I don't know, they never were so great. They always were. I don't know. I didn't think they would be so great. I thought, usually it's kibbutz, wedding, and everyone, it's nice with the kibbutz and no one else knows. I don't know. I didn't have great expectations. But that wedding was so nice. I was so pleasantly surprised. I didn't even, under the chuppah, they had a Rav was such a nice guy. He was so nice. The people from both kibbutz, also from that and also from Kivat Brenner, they're not religious, and he didn't make this whole big thing by making all kinds of sermons and making it so that everyone forced it. And on the other hand, he didn't just do it fast and kacha mezalzel, fast, and so it didn't mean anything. He made it so that it meant everything to the people there, and he said something very nice. And apparently he made it his business to know Shimon beforehand and to know Ada, that's his wife, beforehand. Later on, he mentioned that he invited them both over for Shabbat so that he could meet them. He didn't just come and do a wedding quickly because there's many people saying. He was so nice. The people, everything was quiet, can you imagine, and they were listening. The tape is going to run out, I'm going crazy. But it was so nice, and the wedding itself was nice, and Shimon is such a nice guy, and his wife Ada also. They're very nice, warm people. I don't know, it was so pleasant. And then later, upstairs, after the chuppah, then they had a meal upstairs. And I think I won't be able to eat because the kibbutz isn't a kosher kibbutz. I planned on not being able to eat. I was a little bit sorry because I was getting hungry. I thought I'd eat fruit. And, I just wouldn't eat any of the cooked food. They had crying dinners and a whole big table full of kosher meals because James' family is religious. I forgot about that. So there was food to eat, and I'm kind of nervous because of this tape. And they were singing, and it was so warm and so nice. And then an Otis came, and I gave them the money, and they're very grateful. She probably by now wrote you a letter, and you said thank you very much. And talked to Aunt Lil, and everyone was so happy, and the whole kibbutz was singing. It was such a pleasant wedding. I was so glad I went. I felt bad for sort of not wanting to go. I had such a nice time. Lil took a few pictures, and they took pictures, and I don't know if they'll send you or not. I would go on about the wedding. It was very, very, very nice, and everyone asked about you with some regard, and you're coming in the summer. So everyone's real excited. And it was very pleasant. Really enjoyed it. I'm waiting for the tape to end. I can't go on to tell you about Sylvie's wedding until the tape ends. So let me see. Okay, now it's hold on. It's now Tuesday afternoon. What's up? And I'm waiting for Yoko and Leah and Lee to come, like I told you on the other side. But I want to sing this tape with him, rather. So let's see. I don't know, I feel kind of strange talking because I know Ellie's sitting in the next room and I don't know, I don't like anyone is around when I'm talking. I like to be alone. But what can you do? I was telling you about Shimon's wedding, and I continued, of course, talking for about another 20 minutes before I realized that the tape ran out. But in short, I was telling you how I got home because the buses had stopped. So we got a trip from the wedding to Ramla with one of Shoshan and Mesha's daughter. I don't know which one. I keep getting them mixed up. One's Hana and one's Bracha. And we went with one of them. I don't know which one. And from Ramla we took a Sharut. But of course they gypped us because we took take advantage of people like us because it was late at night and we wanted to go to Jerusalem. But anyway, so we got home okay. It was very, very nice. It really was a very nice wedding. I have plenty of gifts that I could choose from to give as wedding presents. We got so many cups and glasses and things like that I could always give them to other people for wedding presents when the time comes. But I didn't know what to do because both Shimon and Ada are from kibbutz, and they don't need glasses. I don't know, they get everything from the kibbutz. I'll have to pick something out and send it to them. Let me see. I'll tell you about Sophie's wedding, and let's see. I have to get my thoughts in. Today, well, first of all, I'll tell you what happened to me today. I sprained my ankle today. Sometimes I guess because I'm heavier now or something, sometimes I lose my balance when I bend down to something up, or sometimes in the bus. And today I was walking on the steps and I twisted my ankle. I was at Michala. I have so much to do. There's so many things to test to study for, and I have to do them in the library because I don't have the books here. And I went today to the library and I twisted my ankle. And I right away left. I called the Harvard because I didn't know what to do because I couldn't walk. Another Harvard came and took me to the hospital, where they x-rayed my foot and everything. So it's not broken or anything, it's just a sprain. Now I'm stuck at home. I'm lying down now in bed. I really can't walk around too well. At least not today. So I wanted to make Yako a nice dinner and everything. He only wanted it to be for tea and cake. It looks like it's just going to be for tea and cake because I really can't prepare and I can't ask Ellie to make dinner. So I can't give him nothing. So anyway, I'll tell you about Toby's wedding. Toby's wedding was 2 days after Shimon's wedding, on Wednesday night. And let me see. It was at Malon HaMerkaz, the Central Hotel. Downstairs they have a big banquet hall. And it's an enormous place. It has like 2 rooms that are separate to each other by like these curtain-like doors. You know, like sliding doors, let's say. When they're completely open, you don't really notice that it's 2 separate rooms. But you sort of know that there's beams in the middle, kind of. So, one side of the one room was for the men and one room was for the women. And it was a sit-down wedding. And they planned, I think, for about 500, 600. It was an enormous wedding. And I think over 1,000 people came. His parents are from Chicago. They're old-time Chicago people. And the Hurwitz is also originally from Chicago. So the whole world was there. I didn't really know anyone except that someone told me that being at that wedding was like, this is your life.
and they just met everybody that all kinds of people that hadn't met each other in years and years were getting together and hugging and kissing each other. So that was nice, I guess. Toby was pretty nervous before the wedding, and for the few days before the wedding, I was with her most of the time. She had a lot to do, sewing and a lot of last minute things, and she had so much running around, so much worse than I did, with her veil and with her gown, so much last minute things. She was feeling sort of a nervous wreck before the wedding. So for the last 2 days, I was with her most of the time. I wanted to at least make it as easy as I could on her, because you shouldn't go into your wedding all tense and all running around and tired. You should rest and not have to worry about a lot of things. So I was with her. I sat at her house a lot and sewed hems and sewed up little things and ironed for her and all kinds of little things, and just to be with her. And the day of her wedding, what happened was, after Pesach, they're going to be living in Petach Tikva, because Ari is going to go to Bar-Ilan. And he's going to Bar-Ilan, and he's going to be studying law. And so he'll be there for at least, I think, 3 years or something. So they rented an apartment in Bar-Ilan, in Petach Tikva, which isn't far from there. It's a nice little city. It's a little city. The Falls live there. And so they rented an apartment there. But they don't have to, but Ari doesn't start school till after Pesach. So until then, they rented an apartment in Birshagan, right across the street from where my Mikhala apartment was last year. And so they were going to go there right after the wedding. Only Ari's parents were staying here at a hotel, and Ari has a little sister and a brother. So they decided that it would be easier for them to stay in the apartment that they rented, and for Toby and Ari to stay in the hotel, because this way they wouldn't, if they would stay in the hotel, they would have to rent 2 rooms, and this way Toby and Ari could just rent 1 room. And at that time, they thought they could get that Central Hotel a room for a whole week. But it didn't work out that way. It worked out that they could only get that room for 2 nights, Wednesday night and Thursday night. And anyway, so they had the room the day of the wedding, and Toby went there on Wednesday, and I went with her early. And she rested up there, and she got dressed there, and she took a bath there. I'm really glad. Now that I remember you suggested also to take a room in the hotel, but I see what it was like. I'm really glad that I didn't, because it wasn't so nice. It was a teeny little room, and it was cramped, and there wasn't anything to do there. There wasn't a kitchen, and there wasn't any food. There wasn't any books. But anyway, it was nice. And she got dressed, and then we went down to the wedding. And before the wedding, they took family pictures. And I was there from early in the day with Toby. And Ellie was supposed to come to take pictures, but somehow there was a misunderstanding, and he didn't think he had to be there then. So he came late. So there are a lot of pictures that I'm in that he's not in. But I'll send you copies anyway. And later on, he got him in pictures. But, so anyway, as soon as I walked into the hall, the wedding was called for 5:30, and it was 5:30, and the first thing that people won't come on time, except for all of a sudden I hear someone yell across the hall, "Tina!" And I couldn't stand it, and I looked up, and it was Mr. Carlson, and I really was negligent. I hadn't seen him yet at all, because before my wedding, he came in the summer, and all the time I kept waiting to go visit him, but I was very busy running around and all that, and then he went to America until he came back. I don't know, somehow I just never got to visit him. And it was the first time he was seeing me since 8th grade or something, 9th grade. It was very funny. It was very good to talk to him. We talked. He couldn't believe it. He kept saying, "Wow, you look so old. You're married." It was funny. And I saw Mrs. Khan, and she sent her regards, and I said that you were coming this summer, and she was real excited. And everyone, a lot of people from Washington there, Mrs. Lewis also asked about you, and I don't know, everyone. Mrs. Falk was there, And their husbands were also there, I guess, but I didn't see any of the men, really. And, I don't know, I guess about the same crowd that was at my wedding, except for that I didn't pay so much attention at my wedding, or didn't have as much free time. But, anyway, let me see. I don't know, there were a lot of people there, and they all sent me cards and asked about you, and I'm trying to think if there was anyone really special there. I don't know, and relatives were there. Mostly old Chicago people that I don't know, that are friends of the Naimans or the Hurwitz from a long time ago. But the wedding was close to 5:30, and until, you know how things drag on, the chuppah wasn't until about 6:30 or maybe even near 7. And that was real nice. Ari came and he put the veil of Tovi, and it was real nice. And then they all danced out. And my job was, at my wedding, Adel, that's the grandfather's, Rabbi Horvitz's father's wife, she, at my wedding, she didn't walk too well. At my wedding, she didn't get a chance, she didn't get near the chuppah. By the time she got out there, it was too packed and she missed it. And she didn't want to miss it. She didn't want to miss it at Tovi's wedding. So my job was to walk with her to the chuppah, and I had to take care of her and make sure that we got up near the chuppah. And the same thing with Aryeh's grandmother. She's also old, so Aryeh's sister walked with the other grandmother. But it wasn't so simple because they walked very slow, and all the boys were dancing with Aryeh, and we were trying to keep up, and we got shoved around, and it was very cold out. It was a nice day, but at night it suddenly got real cold. But we got up pretty close, and they had a nice chuppah. It was okay. They had different people saying brachot. And then afterwards we went in and everyone sat down. And there wasn't enough tables for everyone to sit because a lot of people came unexpectedly, and you know how everyone brings friends and relatives. But they had enough at the end. They set up more tables. And the food was okay. I was starving, so I ate well. And then afterwards they danced and sang. Like at our wedding, I guess, except that you couldn't see because the men were all the way on the other side. The girls danced a bit, but I didn't dance. I wanted to. Someone told me, another friend of mine who's also pregnant said that she had a friend who went to a wedding and danced in her 8th month. But both of us just talked about it. We both sat there. Neither one of us made any move to start dancing. But anyway, it lasted a long time. And I don't know. I don't think there was any speeches like at my wedding. That guy, the one guy, made it, the Varsoa. But then afterwards, again, they took a few pictures, and by that time I was very, very tired, because after being with Toby all week, and I guess all the excitement and tension, and also traveling on Monday and everything, I was really tired. So the Hurwitz took us home, and that was it. And Toby and Aryeh that night were in the hotel, and the next night also they were in the hotel. The next night they had Sheva Brachos at the Beit HaMidrash, that's Rabbi Horvitz's school. So he didn't know what to do. He was in a dilemma because he didn't want to invite all the boys, but yet he had sort of a responsibility. He couldn't invite them all, but yet he wanted to have them participate somehow. So they made Sheva Brachos there, and it was for the boys of the Beit Midrash and for close family. So we went. It was nice. We sang well, and that was nice. That was on Thursday night. And Friday night, Toby and Aryeh were at Malana Shalom. Saturday night, they were at their parents' house. And then Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night, they were at Malana Malachim. And then Tuesday, Aryeh's parents left. Or Wednesday, Aryeh's parents left, so that they finally moved into their apartment in Bayit Hagan. And now they're living in Bayit Hagan for a few weeks, and then they'll move to Petah Tikva. So they're worse off than we were. We were only in, I think, 3 or 4 places, but they really moved around. They're very glad, I think. I haven't talked to Toby. I wanted to go visit her today, but things didn't work out that way. But I imagine they must be glad to be in their apartment, semi-permanent. They had Sheva Brachos every single night. We only had that kind of Yehudi, and then on Shabbos, the people in the Masesferet where we stayed made us also a Sheva Brachos. I didn't cook for Shabbos, so we ate over someone else's house, and we had Sheva B'chel then. And one other night we were at another friend at Ellie's for dinner. It wasn't really Sheva B'chel. But anyway, really, I don't know how so we managed to do it, running around each night a different place. Phew. We were invited to a lot of them, but we only went to two because we didn't have the strength to, or the time really to go running around. But anyway, so now they're pretty settled. After I told you we have a week vacation this week, and next week there's a bunch of tests. But after Pesach, and Kobe's in Petach already, she will be able to finish school. I think what she'll do is she'll have to commute. Not every day. She'll probably have to come to Jerusalem and sleep over a few nights. And because all her courses are sort of spread out. But even if she misses a lot of classes, first of all, from Pesach to the end of the year is only a few weeks. And it's not as serious anymore because here she is a senior in her last year, in the last few weeks. And the teachers are very, very considerate. They really, really do everything they can for married women, especially those who have to commute and live out of the city. I think the main thing is that she takes the test at the end of the year, then she'll be okay. So she'll be able to finish this year. And it's her last year. She's done. We're lucky. So anyway, that's about it. I guess everyone had a nice time. It was a nice wedding. It was much, much bigger than ours. I don't think that there was, I don't know, it was nice. Anyway. So what else did I tell you? Pourim. I started to tell you about Pourim. I told you a little bit of the first night of Pourim, and this year we had like 3 days of Pourim. It was really something. On Friday night, I told you I invited Bracha and Yaakov over to dinner, just to make it, there's lots of times we eat over each other's house and we were cooking anyway, so we eat their one meal and they eat their one meal, just to make it nice. And it was nice. I served the meat that I cooked that I didn't really know how to cook. And I made it into a soup kind of, not intentionally, I don't know exactly what happened. But the soup was really delicious. It's sad that meat's so expensive. I would make this soup a lot. The meat was okay. I don't think there's much you can do with it really. The meat I think that Daddy likes, that stringy meat. So it tasted okay. It was cooking the soup, and I guess I put good spices in. I don't know. It was okay. And I don't know, so that was nice. And on Shabbos it was a beautiful day, and Ellie and I went for a nice long walk. And Saturday night we went to Rav Yehuda for the class. I wrote you a letter from there. And I don't know what happened, but you know, there's all this business of politics going on here. It's very, very mixed up. It's very, very confusing. And right in the heart of all of it is Rav Yehuda. He's sort of like running it all somehow. And in the middle of Saturday night, a bunch of people from the radio came to interview him and everything. He was on the radio. It was exciting. But Sunday was the day of Purim, where you give shalach manos and you have a meal. And I got up early on Sunday and made all the shalach manos. And then Ellie and I went to visit Rabbanit Sharabi, you know, the lady that I used to help out work for in Machane Yehuda. And it was so happy. It was so samachah. We went and they're all Sephardim, Eastern Jews around that live around there. And all outside the house, they have like a courtyard outside of the house. And it was all packed with people, everyone coming to give their best wishes and everything for Rabbanit Sharabi. And inside they were singing and dancing, but they sounded like Arabic music because they are Eastern Jews with a drum and these bells. It was really funny. And I went in and she was kissing me and giving me all kinds of food to eat. She wanted Ellie and I to drink the chayim or something, but we didn't have time. We had to rush off. And we went to visit Zakiya, and that was nice too. She sent her regards to you. She was so happy. She started sending regards to everyone. She sent regards to you and to her cousins, that she has cousins in New York. She thinks I know them. I keep telling her I'm from Washington, but she thinks that Washington and New York and America are all the same thing, and that if she has cousins there, I must know them. And I get tired of telling her that it's a big place, and I don't know if her cousins in New York. So she thinks that I do, and so she always tells me to send them regards and send you regards. And then we visited the Horvitzes, but we weren't there for the Su'uda. For the Su'uda we went to Ellie's friend Odin in Kiryat Moshe. And I don't know how his wife did it, but they had about I guess 50 people there for the Su'uda. It was really nice. Everyone was there. All the young couples of the yeshiva came. Yehudit was there, and she brought her little baby Chayla, and Yaakov and Bracha were there, and Eliakim and Esther were there, and who else do you know? I don't know. All the young couples in yeshiva were there, and all the babies were there, and all the kids were there. And it was really something. But I don't know. They sang and said Divrei Torah, and it was nice. It was nice. And we ate, and it lasted till late at night. We came home, and that brings us to yesterday. And yesterday I sort of was a lazy day, even though I wanted to go to Mikhalah to learn like I wanted to do today. But instead I sat outside all day and read and studied a little bit. Just a minute. I really think I forgot some things to tell you, and that was tiny diary type thing. Just a second. I have a roll of film that I started a long time ago that I want to use up, and I want to send it to you because you want to see what I look like. And I keep almost every chance I get that it's a nice day and it's not Shabbos, and I get it, and I like to take pictures. And I really don't have that many, and I keep wanting to use it for film. I decided that today I was going to use it up and send it to you with Yaakov. So you could prepay for development, but it would be quicker that way. So I didn't though because instead I fell on the set, so I didn't get a chance to finish it up. So I won't send it with Yaakov, but I'll finish it up, and I'll send it soon, because it's Chazal. He said so you could get the picture. There's nothing special, just maybe I'll take a picture of the house and you'll see what it looks like. Even though we'll probably be here when you come in the summer. I don't know. We asked the guy in Sanhedria when he's moving out, when we'll be able to move in. And at first, they stopped building because of the war. They didn't have any, besides not having any construction workers, because they're all Arabs and they all ran away, they also didn't have any means of transportation, because everyone was in reserve. They didn't have any means to transport all the material they need to build, the cement and everything. Everything was at a halt, and building suffered more than almost anything. So all the new apartments that they were in the middle of building stopped completely. So there was a hold up in building. So when we were supposed to have been in last month, I think, by what he said. Now then they said Pesach time, and then they said now the beginning of the summer. So we'll see. Now it's getting very close. I would like to move in there before the baby comes because I'd like to clean up there and straighten up their bases, basically, basic cleaning and get everything packed and everything together before the baby comes in. Then I won't really have time. But whatever happens will happen, I guess, These are things that we don't have any control over, and because of the war, things have held up. But it's certain that the men, it's not the people in Sanhedria, it's not their fault. They're as anxious as we are to move. So whenever they move out, we'll move in. Let me see. It's such a shame. It's such a good opportunity, because I'm talking to you now, and you'll be able to hear it really soon. I'm trying to think of things that I can send to you with Yosef, because he's going with an empty suitcase. But I don't know what to send you. Let me see. I'll send you the tape, and I don't know. I'll look around for things that maybe you'd interested in. Send me it's Yosef. Is Uncle Sidney coming? Yosef thinks that he's going to be here for things. I don't know. He hasn't heard from him. He got one letter from him 2 weeks ago. Sometimes he really hasn't heard. I'm wasting this day. Just a minute, so I think it's something good to say. You want to hear the funniest thing? Before, a few minutes ago, I was listening to the radio. I was making signs, Band signs for Yaakov. We were saying them up, even though Since I can't make him a big dinner, the least I could do is make it sort of by making posters. But anyway, I was listening to the radio, and there's one station which has mostly classical music. I like to listen to it. Sometimes they have opera and stuff, which sort of is depressing, but sometimes they have good stuff. Anyway, all of a sudden I wasn't really listening, and they had this concerto or something they're playing, and I found myself singing along to it. And it wasn't, and then I stopped and I couldn't understand how I knew it, because it wasn't a famous thing, and it wasn't a piano concerto, it was a clarinet concerto. And I all of a sudden remembered that it's a piece that Stanley played. I must have been maybe about 7 or 8 years old, and he played the clarinet. It's one of the things that he used to play. And it was in the back of my, you know how he used to play it over and over and over and over and over. And it was one of the things way in the back of my memory. And all of a sudden I found myself singing it. It was so funny. It was really nice. But, so I wanted to tell you that. I wanted to tape it actually, but I didn't get the tape. I don't know whether you would remember it really. And I couldn't get the tape together in time. Out of the material that you sent, the 3 pieces, the 3 dress pieces, I made 2 dresses. And one of them, I made out of the green and blue that you sent with Malka. I'm wearing it right now. And I made out of the orange and white. That was really pretty. Oh, I wanted to tell you, the man who brought the orange and white, I haven't heard from her. She wasn't at the wedding. I have to write to her. I got the package from her with, it had in it shampoo and Tums, which, by the way, has helped a lot. But I'll tell you that in a minute. And the material. But somehow she must have, the battery for the watch must have slipped out. Or maybe it's in her suitcase or something, but I didn't see it. So I'll have to write to her and ask her to look for it. Because in the meantime, in Israel, they don't know what, they never heard of such a thing. No one, you can't, the most expert watchmakers, look at how he's watching, they never saw such a thing before. So, in the meantime, the watch doesn't work, and it's a shame. So I'll have to write to her and get it something. What am I going to ask? The Tums really help a lot. I don't have such a problem now with gas tanks and things like that like I used to have. And now I feel excellent most of the time. I don't sleep as much. You know, I'm normal. I'm back to normal. Do a lot of things around the house, and then I get ambitious in my day, and I even learn a little bit, and clean a little bit, sew a little bit. But, I don't know, there's something, I have to figure out what it is. But sometimes I get terrible heartburn. I have to figure out what, I have to pay attention to what I eat, and I have to notice when I get the heartburn after what food, because it's such a funny thing. I'm like an old lady with heartburn, and I have to sit up, and I have to sleep with a lot of pillows, and sometimes I'm tired all the time, and now especially with my foot, I wobble around. I really feel like I'm about 90 years old. Oh well, what can you do? Let me see, what else? How's the bike riding going? It must be nice weather there by now, right? It's now getting warmer there and sunny and pretty, right? Spring? You can do a lot of bike riding now, must be nice. Right on Yasser here, and Leia wants to say something to you. So I'll let her talk. And Ellen's counting all the English words that I'm saying. Maybe I'll get him to even say something. Will I take you hospital? No, he says no. He used to me, no. Okay, just a second.
Hello, Bernice. Hello. I'm glad to be with Daddy and Ellie now, and Joseph. Joseph is going now. Soon. Not now, soon. So to stay, he will be with you and we'll have a nice time. And I'm glad for him. I'm sorry not to be there with all of you. And I wish you a nice Easter. and spend the time nicely together. My best regards to all of you. Shalom. No?
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Mary girl.
Shalom. Tamiz, I want to tell you that Daddy arranged everything so nicely, and she wrote Ellie and Daddy, they prepared the house.